Hello, and welcome everyone to long overdue headlines. Um, we are, oh my goodness sakes, there's so much happening, guys, and I have been MIA for so long. I've got a lot of stuff going on, and I have not truly had, I don't have time to clean my bedroom, let alone stop and get all of this information out to all of you. And I know we've been doing, trying to stay steady with our daily devotion after our little Sweet 18 graduation, senior trip, whatever you want to call that we did with Abby. I don't even know what to call it these days. these days, she wanted to see the Grand Canyon and the Mount Rushmore, and she's been a straight A student, so just about all her life, especially all through high school, and she's been doing wonderful. And we got to do what we got to do, right? Anyway, and then we have been busy with Michelle, and guys, it's been bam, bam, bam. But I have got Michelle in agreement to do us a stream tomorrow. So we're going to interview Michelle. We're going to just I don't want to call it an interview, but we're going to just have a chit chat. There's a lot of stuff that we want to get out so that everybody can be aware. There's a lot of concerns and things people may or may not know. And so we want to get this information out as quickly as possible. And we got a game plan and we got to go forth. Hey, Miss Carol. Hey, Daryl. Enjoy. You guys are still door dashing. All right. Hopefully y'all are doing pretty awesome today. I know that door dashing and Ubering is kind of, you have good days and bad days, but I hope y'all are having a blessed, very blessed day, Daryl. Anyway, God is good. And there is a lot of stuff going on. And you guys know that I am not one of these people that like to run with something that I cannot vet. But I don't like to put out propaganda. I don't want to tell a lie. I want to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, right? That's what we're called, the truth factor. And the only truth I worry about is God's truth, right? You guys know I'm a godly woman. I love Jesus, and I'm not trying to to put myself out there unless I'm certain of what I'm reporting. But I have a couple of things that I want to talk to y'all today about that are pretty big, pretty big. I mentioned a little bit of it when we were praying this morning about Biden. There's been 1 minute, well, pretty much right after the debate, everybody turned on him. They were getting rid of him, all this and that. I mean, you were hearing it from everybody. Well, then he comes out, says he's not going nowhere, says he's staying. Everybody's coming out behind him, like Pelosi, so on and so on, right? But this morning, bright and early, Bill O'Reilly makes a post. Bill O'Reilly is a trusted, reliable, very known book author, news reporter, in my opinion. I've not known him to put out stuff that he couldn't confirm. Hey, Drain, and hello, Rebecca. And again, welcome, Carol, Daryl, enjoy. I'm so glad to see you all. So all of these, everything that I have is linked in the Wixit and the description in the box below. But we've had rumors that they've got a list of people that they're going to try and replace Biden with. I've heard from Whitmore to Gavin Newsom to Michael, all kinds of names in between. but it is, it's yet been to be made public. Now, to me, I have quite a few things that we're gonna show you, but I think it's pretty big when somebody like Bill O'Reilly puts out that Biden's quitting the campaign. So when somebody like that puts something out, this chickie's going to take notice, and I'm going to bring it to you guys. Then also we have things breaking in, I guess, France with Macron. We have Germany and Europe. Would just pretty much all of. It sounds like more than half of the United States bases in Europe are under some kind of Charlie readiness level, kind of like DEFCON warning type thing, up to the Charlie level there on the bases. So let's get into all these little tidbits, and I believe the thumbnail, if I'm not mistaken, guys, was my little white gate. And I want to tell you all about the white gate, but I'm going to tell you, and you guys are going to want to hear what happened in New York. I sort of maybe mentioned it in prayers, kind of vaguely, but I'm going to get into what the heck is going on in New York and why why you should care. Anyway, and things that we should be on the lookout for and be praying about, right? Anyway, it's an exclusive, the New York story that you're only going to hear here. So that in itself, and it's a firsthand account. It's not it's not been, I told an attorney, and that's about all I've done. But anyway, let's get into these little tidbits, and then we'll before the end of the stream, I'm going to tell you about New York. Don't let me forget to tell you guys about New York. All right, so let's share this screen out. Oh, hold on. Let's stop sharing. We got to share it again. I think there's one video on here that we're going to listen to. And so. All right. Reminder to cover New York. Thank you. Yes. Okay. So first up, as I said, I think the big, I agree. The news in the military in Europe, the level being raised is pretty important. But I think that I want to cover the O'Reilly thing first, and so we're gonna talk about this. Okay. Here it is, the post that I saw this morning. Here's Biden update from Bill O'Reilly, news headquarters. The decision has been made that the president will quit the campaign. 2 reasons. Democrat internal polling says he cannot recover from the debate, and fundraising is drying up. Now, guys, ironically, after I saw this, I saw a bunch of other people come out talking about how the fundraising has been better than ever. So it's kind of like, what's up? I don't know. I'm just going to report what is trickling out. And like I said, I have other collaborating stories that are going along with this that would lead up to that. This is where this is heading. Okay. So let's continue. Here is Bill O'Reilly's site, the No Spin, for anybody that's interested to check him out. Breaking 911 is also ran with the story today at 2:30. Like I said, sourcing it. I didn't mean to click on it again. Okay. And then we have here from the Gateway Pundit, okay, The report that Joe Biden is set up to fail in the debate as part of a soft coup. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer makes secret move to prepare for a possible presidential run. Now, guys, I can't begin to tell you that I don't find any comfort in that news. By no means. I'm not a fan of Biden, you know. And I'm definitely not a fan of Whitmore either. I do believe in my heart that what I witnessed on the night of the debate, guys, was horrible. It was horrible. I felt bad for Biden, and you guys know there's no love lost here for that man, in my opinion. I'm not for anything that he's about, but my heart was broken for him. My dad had dementia, and so or Alzheimer's, whatever, but same kind of thing, you know. And it's sad, and it was horrible. It really was horrible. I felt bad for him. And, but that being said, we know that can't be running this corporation, company, state, whatever. He can't be running the United States. And they need to step in and do something. This is almost elderly abuse at this point, in my opinion. But, you know, my heart was broken that night for that man. Because I know firsthand about, you know, the dementia and Alzheimer's, that type of thing, have been lived with it with my father. Anyway, so then we have Laura Loomer. LBJ announced on Sunday he would not seek re-election. History always repeats itself. Joe Biden is going to be with his family at Camp David tomorrow to decide whether he's dropping out of the election. The end is near. Biden won't likely live much longer as his body is failing him. And that was reported last night. So you have to, so that was coming out. These things were sourcing. People were already speaking. All, you know, everything is just a bunch of, I guess, I don't know, speculation, or if people are talking to, you know, the higher up people, whoever their connections are, and this is what's being reported. But I think it's crazy. And they all are. You are absolutely right. 100%, Miss Rebecca. I can't even agree with you more, sister. Absolutely. He probably has, Drain. He probably has, brother. Okay, so here is Zero Hedge. This is another source that is talking about replacing Biden with Gavin Newsom, and polls show that Democrats would still lose. So here's another source talking about the replacement of Biden. This one here is talking about replacing him with Gavin. But see, here you go. All these little players are all, you know, put up by, yeah. But we'll read this article here. It says, remember when it was a conspiracy theory to question Joe Biden's cognitive abilities? After Biden's dismal debate performance in Atlanta this week, the media sphere is swirling with conjecture over a potential replacement for the doddering candidate. The Biden team continues to insist that he won't drop out of the race by the time of the Democratic National launches in Chicago this August, but that does not mean that the DNC won't consider picking another candidate to run, though. Convention rules are not legal requirements. They are simple rules dictated by the DNC and by tradition. Delegates that already voted for Biden are supposed to continue their support, but there are avenues by which they can change their mind and trigger an open nomination process on the convention floor. It's telling the far left media outlets that, like Time Magazine and Politico, are already wargaming the possibility of Biden stepping down, that's how poorly received his debate performance was. Following Thursday's debate, Johanna Mosca, a Democratic consultant and a former Barack Obama aide, posted a video on X urging her party to change its 2024 presidential candidate. She said, "We cannot do this. Democrats, Joe Biden can't put a sentence together. We have to change our candidate, and we have so many good candidates who are sitting on the sidelines." While some, like Mosca, don't like the ideal, one name that is continually mentioned in the discourse is California Governor Gavin Newsom. Many Democrats and some Republicans believe he would be the primary alternative if Biden is somehow removed from the running. Their suspicions have merit. Last year, Newsom was given an ample attention by the establishment media, and he did act as if he was running for president. Newsom's capacity for authoritarianism was made clear during his strict pandemic lockdowns, as it was hypocrisy when he was caught attending lavish parties while millionaires of other Californians were ordered to stay at home and away from friends and family. His one and only talent seemed to be the capacity for twisting statistics to fit his false narratives. He is consistently misrepresenting Californians, increasing economic distress as success and downward playing growing homelessness and crime is the advantage is that he's able to do with his completely straight face, and those unfamiliar with such statistics and how they can be manipulated. Newsom appears knowledgeable and formidable. Beyond that, he's not very impressive as a candidate, and the polls show this. So there was a March Rasmussen report of 912 likely voters found that Trump would beat him by 17% to Newsom 34 were if he was the nominee. In February, Emerson 1,220 Trump and a hypothetical against Newsom 10 points. November 23, Fox polled 1,001 registered voters. Trump would win an election against Newsom by 4 points. I don't even think it would get close. I mean, guys, we're talking. He is. Just look at California. I mean, you've got max exodus taking place in California. Come on. It's almost as bad as New York. And it's just disgusting, guys. Kamala Harris loses by 6 behind Trump, of course. Bottom line, the Democrats might want to replace Biden, but they don't have anyone that will win according to the current data. A switch may occur, simply imperishable disgrace to the party going into November, but it's important to remember that Biden is simply a foil mouthpiece for a political ideology of socialist extremism that the majority of Americans now find dangerous and ugly. Every candidate the Democrats put forward will espouse the same exact rhetoric and promote the same exact policies. And that's and this is where we're at. It's like, do you want to continue under this authoritative regime? Do you want a communist country here? Because that's where we're going. And when I tell you all the stuff that I've got to tell you, I don't see any person on the Democratic ticket beating anybody going against them. And I'll tell you, if they were smart, their best bet would be to put Kennedy. And I'm telling you, after hearing Kennedy, I think he would be their only chance. And he is a Kennedy on the Democratic ticket. But nobody else is going to stand a chance. Nobody. Everybody's done with the Obamas. But again, this was a placement to begin with, and a lot of people didn't have any say about it to begin with. So we'll just see where the chips fall, right? Where the chips fall, absolutely. But this is kind of crazy. And again, as we were talking. This is Alex Jones. If this is real, it confirms everything Roger Stone has been predicting for 3 years. And here we see Obama on a voter participant center envelope out of Michigan. Now, I think, Doreen, you live in Michigan. Have you seen anything like that floating around your place? I don't know. I haven't seen it with my own eyes. I'm only reporting what's the picture that's floating around out there, guys. So if you've seen that, or if you can get your hands on something like that and let us know if this is floating around Lansing, Michigan, or anywhere in Michigan, that would be amazing to confirm. You have not seen it. Okay. And a lot of people, it's one of those things, you got to take the source with a grain of salt, unless it's plastered everywhere. But a lot of people would like to do a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of people that think, oh, that Michelle Obama could win it hands down. I'm telling you, Hillary has a better chance at winning than than the Obamas. And we know nobody wants Hillary, and I'm just saying. Heck, for that matter, I think they'd have a better chance of leaving Kamala in charge, but we know we don't want Kamala either. But I'm just saying. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna try and take care of all the debate crap here. We just want to get this all out. And then we'll talk the other. Okay, so Trump may be the first Republican to win New York, New Jersey in decades after Biden debate debacle, GOP leader says, New York Post. So that's coming from New York Post. Yep. All right. And that was the insider paper reporting on that. And then we have this coming out from the Gateway pundit. Nikki Haley issues a warning to Trump if Biden is replaced and renews call for cognitive tests, which directly affects him. Everyone knows that there is no questioning Donald Trump's cognitive abilities. Donald Trump took several, I think two cognitive tests. I mean, for her to even come out and say that, it's just utterly ridiculous. I'll tell you, I'm not a fan of Nikki Haley. I just cannot even stomach even saying her name. And so I think it's pathetic. And it's just another place for her to come out and try to make herself feel important at this hour. Let's see. You had for 20. Oh my goodness sakes, Strain. That's crazy, brother. That is so crazy. Hey, Laura. How are you, baby? And Kennedy is pushing the new Green Deal. He would be, and like I said, Carol, I am not by no means for Kennedy. Believe me, I'm not a Kennedy supporter. I did, however, when I watched the debate, I watched it on the X platform through where Kennedy was added in, because in my opinion, he is on the, run for presidency. And I think everybody should have heard from all three candidates. So I chose to watch the debate via that way. And I'll tell you, he said some things that, my husband and I definitely agreed with. But again, don't get me twisted. We're not Kennedy supporters by no means. But I do believe that he would give, I think he has enough support behind him that he could aid the democratic process. But who knows? Because he jumped ship, they might all jump ship. They might not want him back. I don't know. I'm just saying that I think that he would be the better of anybody's prospects that the Democratic Party has, in my opinion. Now, a lot of people disagree with me, and that's fine. And we can all agree to disagree, right? That's my opinion anyway. They're all selected. I hear you, Rebecca. I do. I know for a long time I didn't feel like that, and after the last event, I kind of have to say that I agree, especially after we watched what we watched, and there was so much about Barack himself the first and even the second time. So it is what it is, right? Absolutely, they're trying to silence him. Absolutely, like I said, and this is the thing: when people try to silence someone, there's a reason they're trying to silence him, right, Carol? In my opinion, you know, um, so that kind of makes him a rebel in some people's eyes. And so that might be enough to give him a little bit of a lift. Now, do I think that they're going to beat the Republican Party at this point? No, I do not. I think Democrats are going to be pretty much, it's going to be bigger than big, I think. And I think they know that. And anyway, so that's my opinion. And that would be it. I hear you, Dream. I hear you. I hear you guys. Anyway, but that's my 2 cents worth on that entire thing. So now let's switch gears just a little bit, and we're going to talk about the events going on in Europe. We have this from B&O News on X. U.S. military bases in Germany, Italy, Romania, and Bulgaria raised their threat level to Charlie due to a possible threat. So Delta is a localized specific threat. That's the highest. And this here is that there's an imminent threat of terrorism. So it's pretty high, guys. And then, of course, here is another little thing that just says U.S. officials in Europe said this is the highest threat level in at least 10 years, according to CNN. So other people are reporting on this. And so this is, one of those things that we must keep our eye on. Here is Hal Turner reporting on it. It says U.S. raises threat level at the U.S. bases. The United States has raised its THREATCON, aka Force Protection Condition, the FPCON at U.S. bases. The Force Protection Condition for several U.S. bases in Europe, including Army Garrison Stuttgart at the Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany, as well as Alvano Air Force Base in Italy, has been raised from Bravo to Charlie. So, where's the Bravo one? Here it is. And so it was pretty normal almost, but maybe not, just a tier below it. So now we're going from Bravo to Charlie. So the Force Protection Charlie, the DOD EFP-CON, consists of 5 progressive levels of increasing anti-terrorism protective measures, the circumstances that apply, and the purpose of each protective posture as follows. The FCON normal applies when a general global threat as possible terrorist activity exists and warrants routine security posture. At a minimum, access control will be conducted at all DOD installations and facilities. Alpha applies when there is an increased general threat of possible terrorist activity against personnel or facilities, and the nature and the extent of threat are unpredictable. The alpha measure must be capable of being maintained indefinitely, and Bravo applies when it is increased or more predictable threat of terrorist activity exists. Sustaining Bravo measures for a prolonged period may affect operational capability and military-civil relationships with local authorities. All right, then we get to the Charlie. Charlie applies when an incident occurs or intelligence is received indicating some form of terrorist action or targeting against personnel or facilities is likely. Prolonged implementation of Charlie measures may create hardships and affect the activities of the unit and its personnel. And then Delta is the last one, which they're not at, but we'll want to know just in case it gets raised again. Applies in immediate area with a terrorist attack has occurred or when intelligence has been received that terrorist action against a specific location or person is imminent. The FPCON is usually declared as a localized condition. The FPCON Delta measure are not intended to be sustained for any extended duration. So there is the explanation of what it is, and the sources reporting that the level of the threat has been raised. And then we have war news. The war drums beat. This here is from End Time Headlines. We've been hearing about being on the brink as Russia advised to demonstrate nuclear explosion to scare the West. This has been, guys, I mean, we've gone back and forth on this for, since what? This has been, 2 years that Ukraine has been at odds with Russia now. It seems like 2 years anyway. It seems like forever anyway. But I think there's always that existential threat there. Um, you've been hearing something about July 15th. Yeah, I hear you, Carol. I hear you. I hear you. Well, I will tell you, I don't know if it's something that I feel in my spirit or whatever, but I felt like there was something going to happen around the 4th. And so who knows? It could just be, all this patriotism, and just the thought that if a country wanted to do something, wouldn't they want to disrupt our celebrations? So, that's my thing. But anyway, so let's go ahead and look at this. Dmitry Solzov, a top figure at Moscow-based Council for Foreign and Defense Policy, has put forward the ideal of Russia carrying out a demonstrative nuclear detonation, a move that could prompt the start of World War III. The alarming suggestion arises as tensions with the West intensify due to the Ukraine use of Western-supplied weaponry against Russian forces. Solzov think tank, known to occasionally sway government policy, made this proposal public shortly after President Putin delivered a grave warning to NATO countries. Putin warned that if Ukraine were to employ Western arms for attacks on Russian soil, it could spark a worldwide crisis, reinforcing his point with threats of severe repercussions. Ukraine's officials maintain that hitting Russian military sites within Russia use long-range Western missiles is essential for the defense and to thwart air missile and drone assaults. Some Western nations have shown sympathy for this view, though the U.S. has not given its backing. Okay, so guys, we definitely know, we've heard time and time again all of these threats, but now there has been attacks to Crimea, other attacks and other things, and I just don't know that Putin is going to play too much longer with the West. I just I think that he's at some point going to bite. Maybe not a big bite, but I think a little one, right? But who knows? Maybe he goes all in and makes a big bite. I don't know. I pray not. But I just feel that you can only rattle the bear's cage so long before you get a reaction, in my opinion. And we have Ukraine massing troops along Belarus border. This here's from Turner. This was yesterday's, I believe. Ukraine has begun massing a large number of military troops along the border of Belarus, possibly employed to drag Belarus into a conflict, giving NATO an excuse to enter. Now, excuse me, I did see this last night. So you take into consideration this article, and then today we have Delta Charlie, or not Delta, but Charlie being raised. So just saying, is there something going on with this that might be connected to that? I don't know. I'm not a big military person, so I couldn't tell you, but to me, you see the one article, then you see that it kind of, things start to add up, in my opinion. But again, there's a lot happening. Then we have Arab League slaps Israel, U.S. in the face, removes Hezbollah from a terrorist list. So the Arab League has voted to remove Hezbollah from the list of terrorist organizations. Hezbollah has previously been designated a terrorist organization in the year 2016, an initiative of Saudi Arabia. At the time of the Party of Allah, Hezbollah was accused of being an agent of Iranian influence in the Middle East and interfering in the internal affairs of Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, and the Arab monarchies of the Persian Gulf. Now the designation is lifted just perhaps days before Israel initiates an actual war against Hezbollah, Lebanon. So apparently now at least the Arabs, Hezbollah, are the good guys. Yeah, I don't think that I see them as the good guys, but hey, go figure. They're not on that terrorist list, right? All right. So now kind of let's get into some of the things that are happening today. Guys, I tell you, there's just so much taking place everywhere. And we have pro-Palestinian protesters are now blocking the New York City Pride Parade while throwing fake blood at Pride attendees. Currently, a group of dozen pro-Palestinian protesters are blocking and causing a disruption to the annual New York City Pride Parade, which is currently taking place in Manhattan, New York, causing the parade to come to an halt as protesters throw fake blood at attendees, creating chaos and confusion. New York City law enforcement have already made multiple arrests as they work to restore order. Okay, guys, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to see if I can stop this just for a second. Trying to see. Let's see. Hold on. I don't know which way I want to go with this. I have some pictures downloaded, but they're not wanting to cooperate. So we got to do it, I guess, this way. Okay. And we'll go back here to share where we was. Because while we're talking about New York, I'm going to share our little story about New York. We'll go ahead and make sure we have that there. Anyway, so we can see people are getting arrested here in New York. I mean, I don't know why things go so crazy in New York all the time. Only place that you see all of this. It's just so crazy. Well, here we have pro-Palestinian protesters blocking the parade in New York City from Insider Paper. If it wasn't, I sometimes want to laugh at this because just the stuff you see him doing is just hysterical in some aspects. When you see grown people act like this, with the signs there and all this and that, it just is ridiculous. Anyway, I just am so sick of all of this stuff that is taking place. And it seems to happen in New York and California. These are the two biggest places that this stuff takes place at, right? I don't know what the heck to think about this New York mess. I'll tell you, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, guys, all of these people, I believe everybody has the right to protest and to readdress your government. I get that. But when you are trying to disrupt people's lives, thinking that your opinion matters more than somebody else's opinion, then we have an issue, right? When people can't get to the hospital, when people can't get to work, you usually have to have permits to do certain things. And so then there's these advanced things. But in some of these instances, I don't think they have permits for these protests. And that's why you want to move to Tennessee. I hear you, sister. I hear you, Shannon. And I'll tell you, we don't live in New York. And I'm when I tell you what took place here in a second to us while we were in New York, it's despicable. New York, I will tell you. But this is the thing, okay? New York is part of the United States, guys. It is part of the United States. And so if it's taking place in New York, do you think that it's like a trial run? They're seeing what they can get, what people will be okay with. I tell you, I wasn't okay. My husband definitely wasn't okay. In fact, he risked his health to leave. Why are the Green New Deal and the Paris Climate Accord considered pretty crazy stuff? Oh my goodness sakes. Well, it's a decent question, and I will tell you, uh, it is not the right time for that question, but I will answer it in short. Um, most people believe that, our world was created by God, and that, some of these things are man has probably jumped into this. You want to preach Green New Deal, but you want to jet around on an airplane, putting in your pollution. You want to spray the skies with all these chemicals, dumping all this stuff, putting other things out there. When you stop spraying the skies, we might have a general conversation. It's ridiculous. Just the things that people want to get under this Green New Deal, and anything that takes away from Americans in general is not good. And when you try to tell people what kind of components they can have in their house, that, oh, you can't have gas anymore, you have to have, it's ridiculous. And it's about control. And that's what that's all about. And I'm not for anybody is going to tell me, or anyone that I love, how to power my house, or how not to, or what appliance I can buy or not buy. So, and that's the feel, and we have the same temperatures that we did 100 years ago. There is no difference. So whenever people want to use makeup propaganda and come attack all this stuff, I think that you're barking up the wrong tree. Well, she was downstairs, but again, I'm going. You're good, Missy. You're good. She's just being sweet, though. Absolutely, it's all about control. Anyway, so I hope I answered your question. But anyway, I'm going to get on to the situation that took place in New York. Okay, so everyone knows that we've been MIA for quite some time, helping Michelle, and we took a trip to it was asked by SoCal. Okay. Well, I didn't see her question, so my apologies to Carol, but we are good. And yeah, we're not here for, to be, we weren't talking about the Green Deal. We weren't mentioning the Green Deal, and I don't care to talk about the Green Deal. And as much as that I'm not for it, we disagree with that on this platform and all avenues of it. So, if you, want to talk about the Green Deal somewhere else, you sure can. I am not, I wasn't talking about the Green Deal. We were on a different subject, and you can talk about the Green Deal on your channel. So have a blessed day. Anyway, so if you want to hear what happened to us in New York, stick around. If you don't, have a blessed day. Anyway, my husband was in the hospital, and while we were in New York, he went into AFib. We had to go to the emergency room. We've been through the AFib thing. It's not anything new, but this time his blood work had showed that he was having some issues with his muscles, that they were deteriorating. The doctor told us that your kidneys act like a cheesecloth, and that these pieces would come out through his kidneys and they needed to be flushed out. So they wanted to admit him and give him a bunch of fluids, and that he'd probably get to go home the next day. They got him back into sinus rhythm, and he was concerned about getting Michelle's house done, and he told me to go to finish up with Michelle's house. And so I went home that morning, left him at the, yep, that's Tim, babe. That is Tim. We went home to,
no, you didn't go home. Back
well, we went back to Michelle's house. You're right, babe. You're right. I went to Michelle's house to finish trying to get everything in order. Left my husband in the emergency room to help Michelle.
Not the emergency room.
It was in the emergency room when I left you. Yeah, you were still in the emergency room. You hadn't gotten into bed yet. But anyway, they were placing him in bed. Anyway, so we had went on to I went on about the day. It was about 7:30, and I kept trying to call him, and his phone was with me. And so I called the hospital and asked to speak to him. And we were having a conversation, and this well, I called the hospital, and they said, well, we don't have phones in the room, but we will take him a phone. And I thought, what the heck? So she, I guess, somehow carried my husband a phone so I could talk to him. And I told him, I said, well, when I come up there, I'll be there as quickly as I can. And he said, just take your time. He said he was in a room at that time. He was stable, everything. He was hooked up. He was doing good. He said when he talked to the floor doctor, that he was saying that he'd probably get out the following day. He, was letting me know, no big worries, no nothing. I probably should back up a little bit. But I guess what happened in the very beginning really is irrelevant. The main thing that took place, I'm getting to. So as I'm sitting here, I brought him something to eat. I brought him up something to eat. I brought him up the cell phone. I brought up his cell phone, a change of clothes, so when he got ready to go, he'd be freshed and showered and all that good stuff. Well, this hospital in New York, in Springville, New York, is such a, yes, he's my hubby. No phones in the room. That is sus, isn't it? Very sus. But when I tell you what happened, it gets even more. So I'm sitting in there talking to my sister because she had called, and my sister had told me that she had. We were sitting there talking, and this gentleman comes in and he says, they're going to lock the doors downstairs and or the gate. He says they're going to lock the gate, and we don't allow visitors after 7:30. Well, it was 7:30 when I got there, and it was about 8:00. I'd sat with Tim for about 30 minutes. And I said, okay, well, I said, I'm his wife and I can't stay with him. I said, what's the deal? Why can't I stay? He said, it's against our hospital policies. And I started to get upset. And, but I said, okay. So I gathered my things and I proceeded to leave. Well, I get downstairs and this is what I find. As soon as I get off the elevator, the gate that the gentleman talked about was already locked. You cannot get out of that hospital. There was no exit point for you to go. I searched everywhere. I came upon the only available exit, which is this emergency exit, and it says security alarm will sound if door is opened. Now, guys, I don't know about you, but I do know that it is a pretty big deal if you set off an emergency door alarm. Okay? So I go back upstairs. I go back upstairs. I'm sitting in my chair over here and talking to my sister, telling her all the things that just took place, just in case something happens. I wanted somebody to know what was going on. And my sister and I are talking, and this woman walks in. She says, "I'm the head nurse, and I hear we have a problem. You don't want to leave." And I said, "No." Hey, baby, you need to turn that down, please. I said, "No." I said, I tried to leave. I said, "I tried to leave." I said, "You've got this place locked up like Fort Knox." I said, "I couldn't get out." I said, "The only way to get out was through an emergency door. And I don't plan on going to jail or being fined or anything else because the fire department has to come and reset this alarm." I said, "So, that is my reasoning." And so at this point, my husband steps up and he tells the lady, the nurse, that he said, no one told him that, you want to say what you said?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. No one told him that when he was being checked into that facility, that he was a prisoner, that he was going to be locked in this facility, that he would not have a phone in his room or anything to that nature. He was there for medical treatment, and that he needed to get whatever floor doctor or whatever papers that he needed to have to sign so that he could leave with his wife. And she said, she goes and she leaves. She said, "My pleasure." She went and walked out, comes back with some stuff, and has him sign the papers. And she says, "Do you know how dangerous this is? Are you really willing to risk your health for this woman?" Because she, at this point, it's like, it wasn't about the mere fact that he was being unlawfully detained, because in the event of a fire, you know, how would anybody get out outside of that emergency exit? And if you couldn't get to that emergency exit, you would be in trouble, because that emergency exit was not right there by that gate. You had to go through this corridor to get to that emergency exit. It was just not right there. So it was a very huge violation. And my husband, having a little bit of knowledge about emergency stuff, just told her that, yeah, he was leaving. So he had to sign himself and leave the hospital and not get the care because he didn't want to be a prisoner in the hospital. Did not want to be a prisoner. And yep. And as we were leaving, so then an aide, I guess it was, oh, it was unreal, let me tell you, but it was very real because it happened to Tim and I. And as we were leaving with the little aide that was carrying us through the hospital, as we were leaving with the lady, we were told that we were told, I asked her, I said, "So how long has this been taking place?" And the woman says, "For a couple of months now." Now, guys, I don't remember correctly how long it has been, but it was just a couple of months ago, I think, that they activated their that bill that Whitmore signed off on, where they can go and take you and put you in a camp or whatever if they think you're sick. And you don't have to have any symptoms because, there was, all that mess with the COVID stuff. So if this has been going along like this, that's the whole thing. So they're going to lock people up. You're not going to be able to get out in any hospital. And that's why I have a voice recorder on your phone. Yeah, well, I had my sister, Heidi. I had my sister on the phone because if she needed to do something for us, she was going to be able to. And I did not think about having my voice recorder on. I sure did not. But I had my sister on the other end listening, because if something were to happen to either Tim or I, somebody needed to know where we were to get to us. And so this is the stuff that is taking place in the United States of America. This is something that you would think that would happen in a third world country, but I can't even fathom being locked in a hospital and unable to come and go as you please, right? I just cannot fathom it. I cannot. Anyway, I was just like, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was just another reason for me not to I was hurried. We hurried. We wanted to get out of New York as quick as we can. We had a lot of hiccups along the way while we were there, but it was mad. It was absolutely mad. And so, people, call your congressman. I mean, you're going to have to rattle some voices, make some noise, but hold on just a second. I have to text and let her know that I'm almost done. So, but anyway, so this is insane. This is the most absurd crap I've ever heard of, in my opinion. But that is my opinion, right? But I'll tell you, if you don't want to be locked up in for going to get medical treatment, stay out of New York Hospital, or at least out of Springfield Hospital. I don't know if all of them are like that, but that one definitely is like that. So I would not go to Springville, New York, to I think it was Bertrand Hospital or something like that. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. But anyway, so that was our eventful time in New York. It was very eventful. That was just one of the many very things. That is absolutely.
You already showed it to me.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And I can't, I mean, and the way that lady had to get us out of there was insane, Heidi. She had to have a key card for everything. We went through several doors. I don't even know how many doors we went through, but we went through several doors. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can find it for you. Here we go. There you go. That would be it. Anyway, it's a small hospital, let me tell you. But it's sad, very sad, absolutely sad. And oh, I bet so, Drain. I bet so. But there's just no way that I could work for a facility in good conscience and lock people in a facility against their will. And that's against people's wills. I mean, especially when you don't inform them. I hear you. When you don't inform them that you're going to be locked in that facility after 7:30. It's absolutely crazy. It is. It's insane. But I'll tell you, yeah, you knock yourselves out, Miss Heidi. I'll tell you, it was after that, I couldn't get out of New York quick enough. I really couldn't. I'll tell you, you couldn't have got me. And then we didn't get everything done in the time frame that we were supposed to. And me and Michelle had to fly back to New York. We've had a time and a half. Let me tell you, we have had a time. And it's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Okay, so I'm looking to see where Miss Carol mentions the accord. Oh, Miss Carol wasn't asking about the Paris Accord or about the Green New Deal. She made a comment in saying that they were pushing, that Kennedy was pushing it, and that he's on that those agendas, I guess that agenda. Yeah, he's in agreement with, a lot of people are on for the climate crap, and I call it crap because there is no change in the weather, and people are. I bet you they are, absolutely, Heidi, and that's why I'll tell you it's sad. Escape from New York, no joke, absolutely, and we escaped, and I don't plan on going back to New York. Let me tell you, um, I know that, with some of the stuff that is taking place with Michelle, and Michelle has agreed to do a stream with me, and so. Whenever she does this, you're going to hear a lot of stuff that has happened to this poor woman, and it's very sad, the stuff that has taken place. But there's a lot of information that I feel that is very important, and I want you to hear it straight from her. It's really, really important. It really truly is. And so, yeah, I had to go back because I'm pretty astute. I do answer the questions in chat. But I was trying to get to my New York story because that's where we were going. And I am really a stickler, for trying to stay the course, but I did not know that Carol asked a question, and she did not ask a question. MCMLX2, she did not ask a question at all. She was just talking about the absurdity that, that they would go along with Kennedy because he is for all of the same things. But, and it would just not be that big of a deal to the Democrats. But yeah, I'm not on the Paris Accord agreement. I think it's a hoax. And that's my opinion. Just like all of us have our own opinion, and I try not to speak about it. I do have some hardcore facts, and one day I might do a stream on it, but I wasn't talking about it. So, and whenever I'm going in one direction, I try to stay in that direction. Yes, and we do rely on testimonies, and and we do rely on testimonies, and we have to have people speaking out. If people are not willing to speak up and speak out, then we're going to be in a bad place, and it is absolutely crazy. And I'll tell you, yesterday, I want to give a shout out, but I'm trying to think. There was this in Dixon, Tennessee. Oh my goodness sakes. Dixon, Tennessee, they had a group of guys that were selling some Trump t-shirts, and Michelle stopped and got one. And we told them we was going to give them a shout out, and it was something Kahoot. I'll have to ask Michelle if she remembers the name of them, but they were a hoot for sure, but they gave a good deal. So I'm trying to give them a shout out. Michelle will help me tomorrow with that completing that shout out. But they were gentlemen, and they were really so real. So I'll tell you, if you get a chance, go buy you some t-shirts from them. They were cool. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so now we're going to continue. Oh my goodness sakes. Really? That one doesn't exist. All right. We don't care. We'll go on because there's others. All right. So Marine Le Pen wins the first round, not her, but first round, as France outright rejects the WEF and Macron. Guys, this is happening time and time again. And The French government has collapsed after victories by the right wing in parliamentary elections. Now, the first picture that I had was, and where it went, I don't know. We'll have to see if maybe we can find. Hold on. Peter, Sweden. Let's see. Let me see if we can find it. Sometimes they say it's removed and it's not, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so the far left is now attacking police with fireworks after a massive win for the right wing in the French election. Did you see anything about this in the media? And here you go. But the picture, and they're rioting in Lyon after the right democratically wins first round in French election. So there you go. It was a picture of that. So again, like I said, there's more than one way to skin the cat when you're trying to share a story in the stream or picture ends. But that's what it was about. Them protesting against and supposedly causing riots over there because the people have spoken against them. Let's see. Then we have coming up soon to be a major hurricane. And I believe it's already at hurricane status, but this was today that he put this out here. The National Hurricane Center, the NHC, is being very aggressive with its forecast updates and warnings about this new storm in the Atlantic. Looks like a major hit to the Caribbean and later into the Gulf of Mexico, which nobody ever wants to see it go into the Gulf because usually it gets worse, all that warm water, because, you know, it's really warm there. But here is also something from Silver Street. It's saying the stores in France are now boarding up as the hurricane is coming. The right-wing party of Marine Lean is dominating the election results. Okay, so they're talking about a hurricane is coming. And that's what I was sharing it because I thought it was elected with that. But it's actually, I guess, the rioting and looting and all that burning expected for a few days. So there's another source on that. I was thinking that it was more about the hurricane. My bad for not reading it all, being quick to play something anyway. All right, Hurricane Beryl already making history strengthens rapidly to a Category 4 ominous sign of the things to come. So Beryl is already a historic for this early in 2024 hurricane season. In the Atlantic, it poses an ominous sign for the months ahead. Let's list the Beryl as it's already grabbed the attention of hurricane experts. The easternmost June hurricane on record, Beryl became the farthest east Atlantic basin June hurricane on record, Saturday breaking a record from Trinidad and Tobago hurricane in 1933, the easternmost major June hurricane on record. Then a Sunday morning, Beryl rapidly intensified to Category 3 intensity. Not only did that become only the third hurricane to reach the intensity in the Atlantic basin, but it also roughly 2,000 miles faster east than 1966 Hurricane Alma that did in the Gulf of eastern Gulf of Mexico. So even an oddity by July standards, previously the earliest Category 3 or stronger hurricane in July to have occurred east of the longitude of the Lesser Antilles was Hurricane Bertha on July 7th, 8th through the 8th, though occurred much farther north. So Beryl's Category 3 strengthened occurred a week earlier than Bertha east of the Antilles. Earliest Category 4, Beryl gained Category 4 intensity Sunday morning, making it the record earliest Category 4 hurricane in the Atlantic Basin. Hurricane Dennis in 2005 gained Category 4 intensity on July 7th between Jamaica and Cuba. Only 3 other hurricanes dating to the mid-19th century gained Category 4 intensity prior to August. So anyway, there we go. So it's a Hurricane 4 now, guys, or a 3, a high 3 into a 4. Absolutely crazy. And we will definitely keep our eyes and ears open for that. Yeah, I will tell you, and it's kind of funny, Heidi. that you mentioned no one having signs, because I will tell you, in 2020, you could have went around and counted, literally hand counted all of the Trump signs. And I'm telling you, we had traveled a little bit, not a whole lot. I can't remember the other places that we went, but you were seeing a lot of Trump signs. Every now and then you would see a Biden sign. And there's places around here even that you would see these Biden signs. Trump won Indiana, but there was still some Biden signs and we couldn't get it. We just don't understand it, but it's not us to say, I love everyone. I will agree to disagree. But I do know when people are trying to stir the pot, per se, when they're trying to, throw a wrench into people's lives and want to cause mayhem. And I don't have, if you want to come in here and try to disrespect me or anybody in my chat, I just don't have any sympathy for that at all. Not whatsoever. And I know that we can get new people into the stream all the time, and we will agree to disagree. But when you come in here wanting to, cause disruption, I just don't have no place for that. I just don't. I love everybody, and I want everybody to have a place to come and talk. And you can speak freely, but I just, when it comes to trying to question somebody's response or something, trying to start something, I just don't. I have zero tolerance for that. Zero tolerance. And it's because of some of the stuff. Oh, goodness sakes, I didn't even know that. You're gonna have to go get them downstairs. They're in the drawer. Yeah, there were signs everywhere, but I will tell you now, there are some people that kept up some stuff that we've seen, but not nearly as much. And I think that has a lot to do, Heidi. I think people are really not wanting to let people know where they stand because they're afraid that they're going to be labeled some kind of terrorist because they, aren't going along with the thing. And at this point, I think anybody that would even utterly have a Biden sign in their yard, I think people would would question their sanity. Just saying. But, and I get that there are true Democrats, just like there are true Republicans, Absolutely. Absolutely, Heidi. I don't indeed, do I? We've had so many different issues, and I don't care for people coming to start trouble. I just don't, and I try to avoid that. We've had situations get out of hand, and I just try to keep an eye on it. And that's why I do keep an eye on chat. I do indeed. And I love everybody. I do. And we can, like I said, we can agree to disagree. And if I was addressing that topic at the time, I wouldn't have cared, in all seriousness. But I wasn't. So, but anyway, that's, you guys know me. I shoot it to you straight, period. All right. Let's see. We have this up next. There was a small plane go down, and it has 5 people crushed near Oscar, Masonville, New York. No word on casualties. Oscar, shut up. That dog. Oh my goodness. All right. And then we have, this here is a lot of people are calling for an investigation into the death of Thomas Massey's wife, which comes only 3 weeks after he revealed the Israeli government controlled Congress through the AIPAC. Despite her being only 51, it was most likely natural causes, or else Thomas Massey would be calling for the investigation too. And let's pause for the theories for now and take time to pray our respects to a woman who was the rock behind one of the most important members of the U.S. government and a lovely mother to their 4 children. And I think this was kind of, I don't know, an odd picture to have up here, but um, I think that, um, you know, we can see that he's a strong conservative. She was a strong conservative. And there is a lot of stuff taking place. Here, guys and gals, fly the Trump flags in their pickup, driving around a few flags, but yeah, not yard signs here that I've seen. Yeah. Well, Drain, I mean, we've had some issues here. And so I try to stay, I try to stay on top of it. Um, I don't let anybody pick on people. I just don't. We're not here to have discord, and I'm not going to have it. So that's that. And you can like it or not, but you can stay if you can be in peace. And I'm not saying you have to agree with what we're saying, but we're not going to get into that here. Anyway, I think it's horrible that his wife passed. And so I had to mention it. And I saw that, and I just felt the need to mention that. Then there's this here. And so I hope everybody will be praying for Massey and his family. Okay. So we can add coffee being recalled nationwide due to risk of fatal food poisoning. Guys, there is. Nearly 300 types of canned coffee distributed nationwide that are being recalled. Concerns according to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Guys, this is crazy. Let's see. Does it tell us which ones? No. It just says the products are identifiable by the language produced and distributed by Snapchill LLC underneath the nutrition fact panel. So Snapchill coffees. I don't know. Anyway, they're talking about botulism concerns. Absolutely crazy. But coffee, this is another one of those things, guys. Why why are we attacking coffee? I don't know. So many things are getting crazy. Yeah, there's not anything. I think I saw. I have seen one Biden sign, and I've seen a couple of flags, but I haven't really seen any Trump signs in people's yards. So now I have seen quite a few shirts. I'll have to. Hubby's not here now. I think he's already gone, but he got 2 shirts. He's a Trump man, and he wears his Trump stuff all the time still. And I got him a couple of new shirts for his birthday because his birthday is July 16th. So, yeah, it is kind of weird, isn't it, Carol? It really, truly is. It is indeed. Yeah, probably a few of them going around, Heidi. I haven't seen any flags for Biden. I haven't seen but one yard sign, and I haven't seen it. Where did I see that at? It wasn't even in New York, believe it or not. And I did see some stuff I saw more Trump stuff in New York than I did in most places, I'll tell you. And in where were we at? Was it Illinois? I don't know. I wish I would have took some pictures of it, thinking back on it. But yeah, I saw what I was seeing in some of the places that I wasn't expecting was pretty kind of crazy. All right, guys. Now I know I'm so late to the party because of course we've been MIA for so long. That's pretty cool. The one of the shirts that I got, Tim, says that Jesus is my savior, but Trump is my president. And I'll show it to you. maybe tomorrow or whenever after I give it to him. It is absolutely. Take the dog outside. I don't want to hear our.
No, he's barking at.
I don't care. I will take him downstairs, but I don't want to hear him bark. It is asking for trouble. It really is. Okay. So anyway, Yahoo News, USA Today, you'll probably miss this Supreme Court decision. It will change how government works. On Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court decided seamlessly to innocuous case about fishing vessels. That will reshape how federal government balances power and is one of the most important steps in forcing Congress to become legislators again. The new precedent set by the Looper Bright Enterprise versus Raimondo decision overturns one set by Chevron versus Natural Resources Defense Council in '84, ruling that courts must defer to executive agencies' interpretations of ambiguous in the law, so long as the interpretation is reasonable. In this case, the National Marine Fisheries Service required a group of commercial fishermen to pay the wages of monitoring programs to ensure they were complying with conservation laws. The original statute did not specify that the wages must be paid by the government, so the government handed the fishermen an estimated cost of $710 per day. Friday's decision sends the fee issue back to the lower courts. The president allowed executive agencies to widely reinterpret laws, and in the case of any congressional ambiguity, at the whim of whoever was in the White House. The Supreme Court decision should help reduce the executive orders. Yeah. As Chief Justice put in the majority opinion Friday, the framers anticipated that the courts would often confront statutory ambiguities and expected that courts would resolve them by exercising independent legal judgment. Chevron gravely erred in concluding that the inquiry is fundamentally different just because an administrative interpretation is in play. The result of this doctrine was congressional laziness, as lawmakers haphazardly left ambiguities in the law whenever they didn't feel like answering contentious questions. SCOTUS, does what Congress won't? Have you realized the Supreme Court? Yeah. So, have you realized that the Supreme Court is only part of the government doing its job? Conversely, it has led to an increase in executive power, allowing presidents to reinterpret these ambiguous statutes every time the White House shifts political parties. Think of the waves of executive orders on day one of any presidential administration that widely change the way major issues are handled. These types of action will need to be far more tactful in order to survive scrutiny from the federal litigation. Chevron was a unique misstep from many of the court's best mind. Conservative justice didn't always feel that way. For non-court watchers, Chevron's deference has been in the crosshairs of conservative justice and legal scholars alike for years. This endpoint has been a dream of Justice Neil Gorsuch, and one that Justice Clarence Thomas has inched toward despite having a vital role in the strengthening of Chevron. The late Justice Antonin Scalia, whom may scholars credit with guiding many conservative justice originalist philosophies, was once a defender of Chevron. The capacity of Chevron approach to accept changes in agencies' interpretation ungrudgingly seems to be one of the strongest indications that Chevron approach is correct, Scalia wrote in '89 Duke Law Journal. Thomas, who wrote a concurrence in Friday's opinion, once authored another opinion in a case called National Cable and Telecommunication Association versus Brand X, which significantly strengthened the deference under the federal courts defer to agency interpretation. Thomas has since urged the court to revisit his own decision, but until now, no such concrete action had been taken. In many ways, the court had become more disciplined on the separation of powers, even as it is ushered in the new generation relative term of conservative justice. Gorsuch, one of the most court's youngest, is often as seen as the thought leader of the movement to realign Congress as legislators. Anyway, this is a good little read. Well, we were almost done.
While Gorge highlighted his concurring opinion, the Chevron has already a zombie president at the Supreme Court, which has refused to apply the president since 16, solidifying its place. The dusting of history impacts the way lower federal courts will read ambiguities in the statutes, while overturning precedents like Roe versus Wade had a more visceral impact on the American public. The realignment with the Constitution should be true legacy of the court's current makeup. And then there's an opinion alert, and I'm not going to read it, but you can if you would like. So, but this was a pretty big decision. There's a couple of quick videos down here on this thing that kind of, I think, will give you a little bit more if you want to look at it, if you don't know what it is, if you, you know, want to learn more. I mean, there's more places to go, but that was, anyway. Here is the Chevron deference is no more. And here's a list of all of these agencies. I think they're under this. And it's a pretty big list. So I don't know what is going to take place. I haven't listened to this entire video, but I thought it was interesting and I needed to stick it here. I probably should have put it down there, but there it is. And this morning, I had mentioned and celebrated that Oklahoma had put the Bible back in, and now educators who refuse to teach students about the Bible could lose their teaching license. And yeah, I am okay with that. Guys, I would not, I mean, you know, you've got so much on this propaganda about the other craziness that they want to push down people's throats. But here we have, this was what started in the school system. This is what every child in America used to be taught, was straight out of the Bible. And so here we find it back into school in Oklahoma, and I am so pleased with it. It is unconstitutional. Absolutely, Carol. Be right back. You got to take a call. Okay. Absolutely. It is. Absolutely. So I'll tell you, this was one of the things that I have been celebrating for a few days. I just tell you, it was just amazing. Then we have the For Your Eyes section, which is stuff that, you know, I think takes some of this. Now, some of this we covered, like the Chevron thing. But some of this, I don't know if this is like an old video. I kind of tried to check into the Norway thing. Couldn't really find anything. This here is just, wow, picture of what is in her, where she lives, or where the place that she's supposed to run or present, I guess. And then here is the social credit score thing. I tell everybody, if there's any one thing you look at, please look at this little video. And we're going to leave it at that. And hey there, Michelle. I was telling everybody she's under investigating the truth. I think that's Michelle. It looks like her. I think that is her. Anyway, just wrapping things up. I do want to encourage everyone. I think we're going to try and go for 5 o'clock. I have to check with Tiana. I'll let everyone know tomorrow, but I think at 5 tomorrow, that is when we are going to do our interview. We are going to have an interview, and we are going to sit down, and we're going to just try to give everybody a full view of what has been a normal for the things taking place in Michelle's life, which should not be a normal by no means. And the things that have taken place, I really am praying that if you, people perish for the lack of knowledge, and we need to get this knowledge out there. And Michelle is dedicated. She is such a dedicated, beautiful woman, and she is going to we're going to try and get legislation or somebody that, love you too, sister. You know I do. Somebody to listen to the things that have taken place and fix this broken system. So what happened to Michelle doesn't ever happen to anybody else. And it should not. I tell you, it should not. So I I pray that you guys can join us here tomorrow at 5. And that's the time and that's Central Standard Time. And that's the time that I'm trying to book. If we have to rearrange it a little bit, I will let you know in the morning, but, we are trying to keep it scheduled for that, time. And, I pray that everything, aligns so that we can, because she has a lot that has happened to her. And I just want to get her story out there because it's sad. It is. And we need to make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. And she is a warrior. She really is. Um, she says a lot of negative things that tries to take away from everything she's been through and all that stuff. But let me tell you, she shouldn't have had to go through all that she has. That is for sure. But, I'll tell you, God has given her a voice, and I just know that he's going to open up doors and avenues that, nobody else could go through. And so I know that a lot of people think that, why did God choose me to do something? But she is a woman of dedication and determination. And so I do see her, I feel that she's going to make an impact for widows of all walks of life here. And I'm praying that, we'll start with this channel with the story, and pray that we get, somebody out there that will help us, address this much needed issue that needs to be addressed. Anyway, and you guys have heard me talk a little bit, so you guys kind of have a basis of the things that have taken place to poor Michelle. And so, it will be a wonderful time tomorrow. I assure you, a much needed story that needs to be told. And I am grateful for each and every one of you. Again, I do want to say that I love everybody and I value everybody's, views. But when we get to be, maybe a little combative, argumentative, type thing, we don't need that in this chat. It's zero tolerance here these days. That's what I have. We're not putting up with the crap, and I'm not looking for people to stir the pot. So, there's other platforms that, like to argue. And, if that is what you want to do, is argue and debate things, I'm sure you can find another place to do that. But if you want to hear, the truth, and you want to get, the headlines as quick, I try to get everything out as quickly as possible. I have failed greatly here, but we have really been so busy. And, oh, well, that is there. People can be so cruel, Drain, and I'm sorry that anybody cried, that you were crying, and that people made fun of you for that. But God won't be mocked, and they will answer for that. They will indeed. And it was not. Absolutely. Absolutely winning streak. Anger is a gift. Provoking is not a gift. That's it. And it's not a gift. And I'm not, I am so past, so many things. And I don't have patience anymore to deal with, people that want to come start problems. And I'm going to hit it off, cut it off before it gets started. But, maybe we'll do a show on the Green New Deal if people want to. If a lot of people tell me they want to hear everything about that I have on the Green New Deal, I might do a show on that. But the show was not about that. So, I don't want to offend anybody. And if I offended anybody, I do apologize for that. I do indeed. I'm not trying to offend anybody at all, but I am trying to inform and share the love of God with everybody and make sure that, you know, whatever God brings to me, that we get it out there. And so, the GND was dead. I don't know what you're talking. Yeah, well, maybe it's not, Carol. Maybe it's not. I hear you, Heidi. I hear you, sister. Absolutely, 100%. I got you, sister. I need to give you a wrench, Heidi. You seem to. You're kind of like me. We're not afraid. Um, we're just not afraid, you know. And I love people like that. I do, and I really don't mean to be rude. I promise I don't, because I love everybody, and anybody that gives me half the chance will find that out. I go out of my way for my family. Just ask Michelle; she'll tell you. And I go out and I do the same for my friends. So, but you know, it is. You know, it's just sad anyway. And I'm the best person you could have in your corner if you ever need a friend to fight for you. That's for sure. Because I take it straight to the throne, and he fights my battles. He does indeed. He does indeed. I'm trying to get to YouTube. I've got a one-track mind sometimes, so I'm going to give you a wrench, sister. I am. As I sit here, I think I've meant to do it one time before, and there you go. Haha, there you go. Whoop, whoop. For all that it's worth, right? For all that it's worth. Yeah. I meant to make you a mod, and I think, and you'll probably abuse it. I doubt that, Heidi. I meant to make you a mod a while back, and I think I said I was going to and didn't get a chance to, but it's because you can't do it from StreamYard. If you can, I don't know how to do it. Anyway, I got. Yep, she is. She's done with New York. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. That is for sure. Absolutely. Anyway, but God is good, isn't he? I'll tell you, I'm so glad she's out of New York. I was, whenever they passed that law, just knowing how much Michelle gets sick, I was so afraid I was going to get a call from somebody and them tell me she was in some compound and we're going to have to go and try to break her out or something. Just absolutely crazy. And so, in many ways, her being out of New York is answered prayers, because I really had prayed that she would get out of New York. And so that to me is an answered prayer, and she is out of there. Absolutely. Anyway, hey, Michelle, do you have a link to your TikTok thing? I don't know if you can share it or not, but if you can, I wanted you to share it. I was going to ask you for it. Well, I have it on my TikTok, but I was going to try and pin it in the video. But if you have it readily available, maybe you can share that. Well, Drain, I hope you come and pick on us. We don't mind. We don't mind at all. You can come pick on us. We're here. You just text me. You have my number, buddy. Okay. Drop that link for them so they know how to get, because you don't do anything anymore on YouTube, or do you? I know that you've had issues. It's American Warriors. See, she's still a pro warrior. She's still a warrior. She's just American Warrior. I knew it wasn't pro-life anymore though, but an American, and she is a patriot through and blue. So For those that have been wondering where Michelle is, you can find her content over there on TikTok. Why it's still available there. Anyway, we know that there's been much to do about it. But we have some things to do, and I think I may have made a boo-boo, and I'll give you a call, Michelle, here in a minute. You might have to come pick me up because Tim has the car. Anyway, he had to go to church. All right. Well, you have a blessed day, Carol. Thank you so much and and please keep us informed on your test and stuff. All right, Heidi. I get you, Michelle. Absolutely, sister. Anyway, I love you all. I do. And we'll be back tomorrow morning with our lovely daily devotion. And if anything ever happens to me, everybody, I know that I've shared this out before. I'll have to see if I can find all the links. But I put videos up on, well, we're on Odyssey. We have links to, oh, goodness sakes. I'm trying to think. Brighton, we put stuff up on Brighton. Odyssey, though, we do stuff on Odyssey, Facebook, of course. And then Rumble. I have stuff on Rumble. And I do have a TikTok channel. I just don't do a lot of stuff on TikTok. The Lord didn't. Whenever he tells me to put stuff out on there, I do. I have just a few. So, but there are other places to catch me. If somebody needs to catch me, if there's a video that you can't find here anymore, you can check it out on Odyssey because everything is on Odyssey. I do like Odyssey. I don't know if you can stream from Odyssey, but I'm sure you can somehow. Haven't checked it out. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and say goodnight tonight. I love you all. And if anything else breaks, you guys know that I will try to drop it. If I don't come live, I'll probably just post it in the community tab. Anyway, God bless you and have a wonderful, wonderful night, guys. And we'll see you later. Bye.